Hello.
Welcome to the Mark and Starla show.
I'm
the
Mark.
only sexy Etsy talk on YouTube.
I'm Mark and Starla.
She is. I'm just the guy that does the sound.
If you're wondering what I'm doing on my phone right now,
What?
it's posting the link in my story that I messed up about today where I told you guys on Instagram, oh, link in my story for the Friday bean, and then I didn't put it in there. So
Did you do a poll with only one option?
no, you have to expand it out to see it. There you go.
Ah, you're right. It just shows the most. Got it.
Happy Friday, guys. Sorry for that slow start. So before we get going, I did ask you guys a question for everyone who's here live. I have little poll options within our chat if you want to go ahead and expand that out. And let's see what everybody says.
External marketing is almost no one.
Yeah. How do you drive traffic to your Etsy shop? External marketing, you guys voted 4% through Etsy or through SEO on Etsy is 42%. Both external marketing and SEO is 37 and 19% said neither. Help.
Good coffee today. Don't sue me, Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't like it when you show their stuff on screen apparently. So I think that we've been doing a lot to help you guys with external marketing over the past few weeks. We've been talking about Instagram Reels. We've been talking about how to use Canva to create different, posts that you can put both on Instagram, Facebook. You could put them on Pinterest. You can put them anywhere. You can post them on TikTok, depending on, if you're doing videos.
Which is all fine and dandy, but SEO is what made us the authority.
Yeah, SEO is great, but I do feel that especially if you're new, you should also be doing that external marketing as well because it's
absolutely both.
Yeah, it's like turning on the faucet halfway versus cranking it up all the way. And if you're only turning it on halfway with just the SEO, then you're missing out on potentially double the traffic, if not more, because external marketing is where you're actually sending people directly to you. And when you send them directly to you, they're not looking at your competitors. Whereas with SEO, they're looking at you as well as everybody else who's trying to rank for the same keywords that you are.
I think to me, the more competitive your product is, the more SEO matters, and the more niche your product is, the more external marketing matters. It's a scale balance. How niche is your product, and how competitive is that niche?
Yeah. The results are changing by the second. The poll's still up if you guys want to vote.
It's still there. You're welcome to vote.
Feel free to vote.
It seems like most people are through SEO on Etsy, which is good.
That is good.
Good. We got a lot of people that are through marketing and SEO. I think SEO is where a lot of people start, and then eventually they make the jump to marketing, because marketing, as a lot of you know, it can be a little scary.
Yeah.
It can be scary to some people.
And honestly, if I were a new business, I would do it the other way around. And that's how I start any new thing that I'm doing, is I start with the marketing first before I have anything to sell. I do what I call pre-marketing, where I get those, initial few people who are interested. And it's never going to be a lot when you start something, especially when you don't have anything to sell yet. But if you're posting teasers, if you're posting previews, if you're giving sneak peeks, I do that for everything that I do. I even do it for the book that I wrote, where I posted little quotes and, artwork and things like that to get people excited, because then all of those people who, even if it's not that many, those are the ones that are like, yes, this is the thing that I've been waiting for, the thing that you've been teasing. I'm so eager for the thing. And then when the thing releases, they're the first people to buy the thing. And those are the people who are going to matter most for the longevity of your business, because for one, those are the people that we want to come back to buy again and again and again. For two, they're going to help you to get that really, really good, strong boost that is required to be successful on Etsy, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But if anybody is thinking about starting a business, or even if you're actually, launching a new collection of product, it's good to hype that up ahead of time, because what you want is the second that product becomes available, you want people to buy it at that moment. And there's a reason for that we're going to get into in a few minutes.
Almost missed it from snowy northern Indiana. Yeah, we feel you there. Who else is braving this winter storm? We got about 6 to 8 inches of snow on top of about 4 to 5 inches of solid ice. How's everybody else doing? Is everybody surviving?
We can't get out the front door.
We can't. Last night I had to go out in my boots and my shorts and kick a path for our little dog to be able to go out to the bathroom.
Yeah, we've got a Chihuahua, and the snow is deeper than the Chihuahua.
Yeah, it is now officially to a point where she doesn't even touch the ground underneath. She just kind of floats on top of the snow.
Look there. Look. through Etsy SEO on Etsy is falling behind. It's 40% now for both external marketing and SEO, and 38.
I think we got some liars.
Yeah, everybody's joining us now.
There's
All right.
probably a couple stinkers, but that's good. That's good. You should be doing both.
Yeah.
One on its own is not going to be enough until you are established enough that your brand kind of speaks for itself, which not everybody will get to that point.
But then even when that is the case, social media is important and marketing is important.
Absolutely.
And you know, Coca-Cola could stop posting anything. They could delete all their social platforms. They could stop doing commercials. They could stop doing billboards. They could stop all marketing right now. And Coca-Cola would be fine. The reason that they do it is so that as like lion at the top of the jungle, even though lions are from the jungle, king of the jungle, they want to make sure that everybody below them still sees them up top. They're keeping up a front. They are showing off their authority. They are strutting. They are peacocking to the world and shaking their tail feathers like, ha, 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 look at our high dollar commercials. And that is all they're doing. That is what big brands do. Do you ever wonder why?
Otherwise, they'd never spend any money. They don't have to anymore.
Exactly. They are maintaining. They are reminding us like, hey, we exist. We know. You know that we exist, but we're going to remind you anyway.
And there are different tiers of that. You don't have to be a big multi-billion-dollar company to get to that point. There are Etsy sellers that are at a point where they don't need to advertise. Like they have a big enough audience that will rebuy and rebuy and rebuy. But it never hurts to continue to advertise and grow that business. That's how you make more money. That's how you grow your audience.
Exactly.
Lots of snow, just lots of rain here. That's how it started out for us. It rained for like a whole day, and then it rained pure ice, not like gross melty like sleet. It was just shards of ice falling from the sky for how long? Like 12 hours, something like that. Until it looked like it had snowed, but if you go outside and like hold it in your hand, it's like when it hails, all the tiny little balls, but the grass was gone. So it was several inches of just kind of really thin hail. And then it snowed like 8 inches on top of it. So it's cold. It's supposed to be like -6 today.
All right.
Hope you guys are surviving.
So we're about a little less than I like to wait for about 10 minutes because YouTube isn't really great about getting people on here.
We used to do our little 10-minute talkity talk with them.
So today what we're going to be talking about, a lot of it you guys are already going to know already, but I'm going to explain it in a way that I've never explained it before just to kind of solidify some things, but I'm also going to incorporate in some things that are new in 2020. I know that a lot of, or 2022.
Last couple of years haven't happened. The meme is real.
It's not 2022. I am not done coping with 2019 yet. But we're going to go over it in a way that is a little bit different, a little bit more abstract than what you guys are used to. And we're going to try to solidify some points. And then I'm also going to be working on a video series that's going to kind of be, you know, I noticed that you guys are enjoying these little short videos that I've been doing. So I'm going to do some more that are going to kind of go over some really common questions about SEO. Because I know that this is probably the hardest thing that you can do for your Etsy shop. I know that it's the thing that you guys struggle with the most. And for those of you who might be new here or who don't know us, Mark and I work for eRank.com, which is the #1 Etsy SEO tool in the world. I've been working for eRank, for over 2 years now?
Yeah. Okay, it was like 2.5 years, I think.
Yeah. Well, there was a half year when I volunteered, and then Anthony's like, why don't I just pay you? Since I'm like, okay.
We were doing all this stuff for free.
Yeah, because I love the company, and we don't get paid to recommend it, but if I can help you guys by sharing what I know about a really, really great tool and be able to share information that nobody else has, then that's what I'm here to do.
Who here that watched the video that we put out on Tuesday enjoyed that?
The data video. What was
we put out a data video on Tuesday.
Yeah, that one was about the types of communication that customers actually have stated that they want to receive. We now have data to support these, swipe files that I've been talking about for years. Customers have said exactly what messages they like, and we have the percentages of how important they feel that these messages are. And these are not eRank users. We've had a couple people who have said, are these eRank users? No,
they were Etsy specifically. We did get the
buyers.
data. We did get the data through eRank, but they were Etsy buyers specifically, not sellers, buyers.
So I should have one more video in that series coming up next Tuesday. Pam and I are alternating.
Either next Tuesday or the following.
It should be next Tuesday, and then Pam has one coming out this upcoming Tuesday.
Okay, gotcha.
So, all right, awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. We worked hard on that one.
All right, so are we ready to screen share?
I guess. Let's move over to screen share.
Are you guys ready?
If I end up getting in the way, tell me you want me to move my big fat head and I'll get rid of us.
Okay. All right, guys, let us know if you can see Mr. Robot. What's his name? What's his name going to be?
Bingus?
Bingus? No, Bingus is a naked cat.
Bingus the boat. Yeah, you're right. Bingus is a naked cat. I don't know. You name him.
This is Mr. 𝔸𝕬𝕒𝕒𝕒, and Mr. 𝔸𝕬𝕒𝕒𝕒 is going to help us with Etsy today. So I commonly tell you guys that SEO is not a one gear thing. I know that a lot of people say, "Oh, I did my tags and titles, but my listings aren't selling." Well, that's not the only thing that you need to do, and that's not the only factor. There are actually 7 factors that we know of that contribute to ranking on Etsy, but there are more than that we don't know about that Etsy doesn't share with us because it helps them to keep the algorithm kind of a secret. You know, that's important because that algorithm, if everybody knew how it worked, then there would be people who are trying to game it, which also isn't good. So Etsy wants to make sure that they kind of keep that algorithm secret. That way we're able to know what we need to do as sellers to optimize the best that we can, but they need to keep it a secret so that people who are really, really good at this, like scammers and bots and things like that, don't take advantage of that system and mess it up for the people who are actually trying to sell. So that's, this is going to be based on what we know about the algorithm. And what you guys should be doing now in order to rank, also keeping in mind the things that we can't really control versus the things that you can control right away. So let's go ahead and somebody said bloopy.
Bloopy. Deborah also asked, does anyone has problems with iOS phone and iPad Pro? Can you use variations? It freezes up. I thought maybe it would be fixed, but this has gone on for months. Make sure your stuff is updated. Make sure you have the most recent versions of the apps. And if that doesn't work, you can reach out to Apple. And like, I don't want to butcher your name there. They said use it on the browser, not the app. And honestly, we used to tell people this all the time, but if you are working on just mobile devices, you need to get yourself a computer, whether that's a MacBook, a Mac Pro, or a PC. You need to get yourself an actual computer to do this kind of stuff on.
Yeah, because there's a lot of limitations.
There are a lot of limitations.
All right, so we're going to be breaking down Etsy SEO into what I like to call big gears and little gears. These are the things that hold the most weight versus the things that hold the least weight, but you can't have a machine with a bunch of gears that are spread out. So if we had a machine that, for example, looked like this, yeah, you've got the 4 most important elements, but if they're not connected, then they're not going to spin and it's not going to mean a whole lot. You need to have the little gears in between to make sure that the big gears connect and are able to spin as a complete piece of the machine. So the big gears and the things that mean the most for Etsy SEO are your tags, titles, and your attributes. Tags and titles we all know are important for Etsy search, but you want to make sure that you're actually researching those, not just guessing them. I remember there was a long time ago before eRank.com when first we had to guess. And then we had to find Google tools, and we had to see what was ranking on Google. I used to use SEO Book, and I have an old video about it.
SEO Book, and then what was the other one with the SERPs? It with the planet, little planet with the swoop.
SERPs, yeah.
Kind of looks like the Edge logo now.
Yeah, SEO. No, that was SEO Book.
SEO Book. Yeah, you're right.
SEO Book would give you it would give you like keywords and how they were ranking, but it didn't give you a time frame for them, so you didn't know how old they were. And I would go on there and keyword. The search volumes would stay the same like for years.
Yeah, because they bought data like once.
Yeah, and eRank updates that monthly, but you can also go and see what was hot the day after. So, like the yesterday trends. So that's really, really useful. So tags and titles and your attributes, those are going to be those little drop-down menus when you're filling out your Etsy listing that help you to categorize your listings based on, what it's made out of, what color is it, what style is it. And they're very specific based on how you categorize your product. So if you fill out your categories and you put that it's jewelry, your attributes might say, is it silver or gold or pewter? Does it have, gemstones. What kind of gemstones? Are they emerald or sapphire or ruby? And you fill those out. And those kind of count as bonus tags. Etsy tells us that we don't have to repeat the words from our attributes in our tags. I recommend going ahead and doing it if it is a keyword that you absolutely want to rank for, though, if it's one of your superstar keywords. For example, if you're selling chunky knit blankets or beige chunky knit blankets, and the keyword that you're trying to optimize for is
Chunky.
beige chunky knit blanket, then I would go ahead and repeat the word beige, even if you already have it in your attributes, just because that's the superstar keyword that you want to rank for. But you don't have to repeat all of your attributes down into your tag section. Sales, that's another big gear. I know that that's hard when you're starting out, but sales send a positive signal to Etsy. They tell Etsy that the product that you are selling is a product that people have liked. They have proof that other people have liked that product. Therefore, they want to recommend that product to more people. Reviews, even more so, because if that sale leads to a review, then they know for certain that the customer really, really loved that product. Etsy knows that they're going to make money if you sell that product. Therefore, they're more likely to recommend that product to others. And that kind of all ties into your good standing with Etsy. If you have cases against your shop, if you have a ton of bad reviews, Etsy doesn't want to show your product to people because they know that people didn't like it. But if your good standing is good, if you have had, a lot of good reviews, good sales, positive communication, you never gotten in trouble, you don't have any copyright strikes, Etsy's more likely to recommend you. So these are our big gears. These are the things that hold a whole lot of weight. Now, there's also the little gears, and these things are equally as important, but they might not have the impact as much as these four big gears. So location, this is where you're located on the map. Etsy is more likely to recommend you to people who are closer to you, but that does not mean that you won't be recommended to people that aren't. For example, if I searched for, trying to think like wooden wall art, I would more likely see people who are in the US just because Mark and I live in the US, but that doesn't mean that someone in, Ukraine, I wouldn't see their wood wall art.
Anything other than like wall art that's wood is going to come from Ukraine.
Oh yeah, they
That's
are
all Ukraine.
expert woodworkers.
Yes, they are.
That's where your dragon skull came from.
Tools too. If you look for like tools, hatchets, knives, like actual wood carving tools, like most of those come from Ukraine too.
Yeah.
A lot of really high quality stuff coming out of there.
So location, that is important, but make sure that you're not like spoofing it or lying about it. VPNs also, Etsy doesn't really like them because they can't pinpoint your location. And if it's moving all the time, then it looks really sketchy on Etsy's side. I don't recommend using a VPN while you're logged into your Etsy shop. But
no, bad idea.
Location, that's a little gear. Time. Now, this is the time in which you actually publish that listing. It is how Etsy is able to gauge basically how people interact with that listing soon after you publish it. When you publish a new listing on Etsy, they give it a slight boost in search. That way you can help gain a little bit of traction. Basically, what they want to do is they want to take this listing that you've listed on Etsy, and they want to watch how people engage with that listing over the course of a few weeks or a few months. It really just depends. We don't have an exact time frame. But basically, when you first publish a listing, you don't have a listing quality score because you have no sales and no reviews. And since you can't really achieve these two big gears because the listing is so new, and you really, especially if you're new to shop, you might not even have that good standing with Etsy yet because Etsy doesn't know how good you are. They need to gauge that by giving you a boost in search for a limited time. So they will boost that listing up. They'll show it to more people. That way they can see if people find it, if people click it, if people buy it. And then if you get the sales, if you get the reviews, you build the good standing, Etsy knows that they can either keep that listing high up in search or if they should drop it down a little bit. Now, a few years ago, there was this really schemy strategy that went around. You can switch it to us for just a minute.
Okay.
There was this really schemy strategy that went around.
Refreshing listings, renewing listings constantly. Good God, don't do that. Don't waste your money and torture yourself like that.
People used to game the system by taking all of their listings, their entire shop, and we were told, oh, go in every single day. All the gurus, go in every single day. It's 20 cents. Renew all your listings. That way you can keep writing that boost. And for a while, that did work. You could rank higher by renewing your listings every day because Etsy thought it was a new listing. You would have to pay 20 cents every single time, which really sucked if you had a lot of listings.
Etsy was still a young platform, and a lot of other coaches and a lot of other people still kind of swear by this. But like Etsy's a big company now, and it's 2022 and your cell phone can listen to you and provide you recommendations on Facebook. Etsy knows when you're doing things that are trying to trick the system. You're not tricking the system. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah. So basically what happens when you do this now is that Etsy sees that that listing is being boosted nonstop and it's still not selling and it's still not gaining rank organically. And that can just continue dropping that listing lower and lower and lower and lower. And then you start losing that good standing with Etsy like we talked about, because Etsy can recognize when you're doing something schemy. So that's never a good thing.
I would not genuinely listen to anyone that recommends doing something like that, because all they're telling you to do is waste your money.
And Deb said, Deb said that was useful back in like 2011. It was more like, I think that it's
2015, and then it really stopped. Probably the year we got, so about 2017. It's when it really stopped doing anything.
Yeah, and when Etsy started using not relevancy,
locational data,
not the user specific data. I can't find the exact word that I'm looking for. But
I got you.
The user specific data. All right, let's go ahead and bounce back. So don't ride the boosts. There are still crazy people out there. Yeah, there are still crazy people out there who tell you to do that. They have no idea what they're talking about. Don't do that. You can really, really ruin your shop.
Yes.
Your tagline. This is the little area under your actual shop name. A lot of people use that for a slogan, but you can get keywords in there, and that is going to help you in Google search as well. Google SEO and Etsy SEO are two entirely different animals. That's why you'll notice that I have tags, titles, and attributes up here, but not descriptions. Etsy doesn't read your Etsy descriptions, only Google does. And it's, how many times do you go on Google and you find just a singular Etsy listing? Sometimes you find an Etsy shop, but you seldom find an Etsy listing. It's very difficult. But your tagline, if you can optimize it, I would try to do that. Search filters. This is something that a lot of people talk about, but I don't use search filters on Etsy. That's when you go onto your Etsy search page and you can filter by free shipping only or lowest price to highest price. Unless I'm searching for like supplies or something, I'm not ever searching.
I don't ever really do that. If I'm really curious and I'm searching for something like furniture, I'll do like price highest first, just out of curiosity. But it's never because I'm genuinely looking for something to buy like that.
Yeah, so search filters, not really something that you have a lot of control over.
No.
Overall shop completion. This has to do with that good standing with Etsy. This is making sure that you've got everything filled out, and why every time we do one of our shop critiques, we tell you guys, oh, your about section isn't filled out. You need to make sure that your about section's filled out. Oh, your policies are lacking. You need to make sure that your policies are filled out. Oh, you only have one photo of your product. You want to make sure that you get more of that filled out. If Etsy gives you an area to fill out,
do it.
Fill it out. They've given it to you for a reason. Alt text.
Yeah, if your question is ever, do I need to do this? The answer is almost always going to be yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to something like running your business, never take the short ride.
Yeah, and if you think that things are good enough, they're not good enough. No. Good enough should never be enough. You should always keep working.
Good enough is settling.
Exactly. Alt text. Now, the reason I have a little bouncing question mark here is because I don't know how much weight alt text has yet. We haven't had alt text for a long time. God, when did they introduce it? Just a couple months ago. Did you even know that they introduced alt text?
No, I hadn't paid attention to it.
So basically you can now add alt text to each of your Etsy listing photos and describe what's in them.
Okay.
This is obviously going to help those who have disabilities related to their vision. But it's also going to send some good signals to Etsy because they're going to be able to read this for keywords. Now, I've had a lot of people say...
But do they?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say, oh, it's the same product over and over. I feel like I shouldn't have to type in what it is over and over. I want you to think outside the box for a minute and think outside the Etsy machine learning thing and think outside the SEO box. And I want you to think about somebody who's blind. I want you to pretend maybe it's your grandma, maybe it's, I don't know, make somebody up in your head and they're blind and they want to go shopping. What your job is to describe the differences in those photos. What your job is to help them to understand what it is. And I have a lot of people say, well, how do people shop when they're blind? There are tools to do that. They can hover over those images and it will read them out loud to them.
I did tech support for an internet company for 6 months, and I helped probably about 10 blind people who called in, which shows me that there's quite a few people that are blind using the internet. They use text to speech. They can literally just say they have someone set their computer up for them, usually a laptop, and they can talk to it, and their computer will read to them everything that's on the screen and how they have it set up, and they just speak to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's not just blind. It can be for someone who's colorblind, being able to describe what color every single little piece of your item is.
Accessibility is becoming it's in every industry. Like even in video games now, when you start them up, the first thing that comes up is like a whole page full of accessibility options for people with different issues. So it doesn't hurt. We don't know if it actually does anything yet, but I mean, if you've got extra free time and you have nothing else to do, go in there and fill out your alt text.
Yeah.
Isn't that option on Google? Yeah, I think so.
And somebody said, how about occasion and holidays? That goes into your attributes. That when you fill out your occasion, that's going to be attributes. Now, I do want to give one disclaimer for anybody who does the occasion and holidays. Make sure that the product itself is about that holiday. So, for example, if you are listing, go ahead and blow us up again. So, if you're listing this chipped up girl boss mug.
Girl boss that we've had for like 20 years.
If you're listing this mug, and it is October 15th, and you know that Christmas is coming up, you might be inclined to say, oh, I'm going to put this as Christmas for the occasion because I want Christmas shoppers to buy this mug. You're doing it wrong. You're miscategorizing. You should only list something for an occasion if the occasion is clearly on the item. If this had a big Santa Claus on it, then this would be a Christmas mug. If you're just putting it because you think it would make a good gift for that occasion, but it has nothing to do with it, then it shouldn't be categorized with that particular occasion. And I always forget to mention that when we're doing these live streams and talking about SEO, but I wanted to go ahead and cover that. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I figured I'd throw it out for everybody else. So
Deb said, there's a couple of interesting comments.
Okay.
Amber was talking about Dragon Speaks Naturally, or Dragon Naturally Speaking. That's one of those voice-to-text programs. Deb said, I read that data is showing that lots of people shop by doing a Google image search and then clicking on pics, adding alt tags will help Google show relevant images. I would imagine so, because Google's usually reading for data that's on a page. So like one of the old tricks used to be like editing the metadata that was in an image to have like as many keywords as you could, and then Google would read that, pull it off the page, because Google doesn't read an image, it reads the text behind the hyperlink behind the image, right? So yeah, I get that. I don't know if that's actually true yet, but it wouldn't be hard to test. We could literally just like keyword spam in there and then try to do that keyword spam on a Google search and see if it pops up after like 3 or 4 days. D Creative One said, what if you don't sell outside the US? Do we still need to complete that VAT/Europe stuff? Do you have a video on how to set up shipping to other countries, or will you consider doing one?
This one's a little off topic.
That's fine.
So you need to set up tariff codes if that's what you're asking. You don't have that if you live in the US. You don't.
No.
You shouldn't have an option to fill out VAT. You're not in the. You don't have a VAT. But tariff codes, yes, and we already have a video on that. So I would go and watch our tariff code video because we walk you through the entire process of how to find them, how to add them to your items, the quickest way to find them, the tool that we recommend to find them. But that is completely irrelevant unless you've accidentally set your locational data to a different country. But if you're in the US, you shouldn't have that at all.
How do I add alt tags?
Go into your Etsy listings and click to edit your listings, and then right over your photos in your listing editor, you'll have the option to add alt text to all of them. And I would do them all. If we're able to do them all, do them all. Describe exactly what's in them. All right, let's go ahead and pop back.
Screen share.
And then the very last one, that we have is shop sections. These are the little sections that you have on the left side of your actual storefront, the front-facing shop that your Etsy buyers see. If you're able to get a couple keywords in there, that's a good thing. If you can't, don't worry about it. I know that it's only so many characters that we can fit in there. But yes. Etsy says that they do read that section. However, it's because all of those sections lead to their own individual URL. And you can technically optimize those pages to be found by Google. But once again, ranking on Google is really, really hard. So to me, shop sections is definitely one of our small gears. I wouldn't, stress about it if you can't get a full keyword in there. But if you can, if your products are mugs for mom, mugs for dad, mugs for grandma, then you can probably get those in there.
For sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and sort these out. So these, all these,
I gotta use the restroom.
okay. There's a reason for all these crazy colors that I chose to do here. We're going to sort them based on their importance. So there are 7 factors that we know of that contribute to ranking on Etsy. And those are relevancy, recency, customer and market experience score, your listing quality score, shipping price, language and translations, and shopper habits. Now, the reason that these are all down by themselves is, for one, shipping price. It's one of the factors that we, that they say contribute to rank, but that's only through filtering. And there was this big thing it was like 2 or 3 years ago when Etsy started pushing the free shipping guarantee and if you spend $35, blah, blah, blah. They said that Etsy was going to start ranking shops higher that shipped free, and everybody freaked out. Well, here's the thing. If you go to Etsy right now and you type in any words, it doesn't matter what you're shopping for. Type in anything. If you go to the first page of whatever that search is, you're not only going to find listings that ship free, which means that they aren't prioritizing free shipping. And I think that is because so many people got upset. If you sell big giant coffee tables, there's no way that you can ship those free. Now, there is a way for people to filter. They can filter by things like price, lowest to highest, price, highest to lowest, free shipping, things that only ship in the US. And that can contribute to the shipping price. But in terms of actually ranking, I don't think that shipping price has as much of an impact as we thought that it would. Language and translation. This is another one that I didn't include in the gears because it's for very specific cases. However, if you are in a, let's say that you are a US shop, but you are catering specifically to Germany. It is better for you to do your own translations rather than relying on Etsy. Etsy will automatically translate, but those translations are going to be stronger if you do them yourself, because Etsy isn't very smart. Etsy, they can do about as good as a Google Translate will do, but everybody knows that Google Translate isn't always accurate. If you go in there and try to copy and paste a sentence from one language in there, it might not come back with the right context, the right dialogue, because there's a gap there between the dialect that's used, and it can make things a little bit confusing. And Etsy is just doing that. They're just translating it over the best that they can. But if you do those translations yourself, if you just happen to speak that language, it's going to be better than anything Etsy could do. So language and translation, that's another small one. And shopper habits, that is Etsy doing its machine learning. It is learning based on things that you have done in the past. It is learning based on things that you've shopped for in the past. If Etsy knows that you only buy things that are pink, and then you decide to search for a coffee mug, Etsy is more likely to recommend coffee mugs to you that are pink, which means that everybody who searches on Etsy, if we all went to Etsy right now and searched mug, we would all get different mugs, because it is a lot different than what it was, because Etsy's more likely to recommend products to us that are most likely what we're going to buy. They are increasing the odds that we are actually going to complete that purchase. And this has made it a little bit harder to check our search ranking, because we used to just be able to go to Etsy directly and type in some keywords associated with what we were trying to sell to see what page we landed on. We can't do that anymore because of personalization. This is the machine learning. This is what Etsy knows about you based on what they observe about you. Now, we've also had a lot of people say, well, I logged out of Etsy and I still can't find myself. Well, yeah, because you haven't gotten rid of personalization by logging out. Oh, well, I used a VPN and Etsy still, they still can't find myself. Yeah, because a VPN does not remove locational data. You're just getting data for wherever you set your VPN to. If you set your VPN to Germany, then you're getting whatever the data would be for Germany. And if you say, oh, well, I did an incognito windows don't wipe out your personalized data. They just don't store the cookies. So Mr. Moore is coming back. I'm like waiting for him to make his way back. Hurry up! All right. So let's go ahead and start sorting these gears out into their areas. Mr. Moore.
I'm back.
Hurry, Mr. Moore.
Why?
Because I've been talking for several minutes straight, and it's hard when I'm all by myself.
Oh, you've done it.
All right, there he is.
I'm back.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start sorting these out. So let's start with relevancy. This is how relevant your listing is to what people search it in the Etsy search bar. So tags, titles, attributes. This is how you tell Etsy what your listing's all about. Etsy doesn't read your description. They don't read your, they can't look at your photos. They can look at your alt text though. So go ahead and grab this one.
You turned it sideways just a little bit.
Oh no.
There you go.
Alt text. These are things that make your listing relevant in search.
Yes.
Your tagline. This is going to make your store itself relevant in search, because if you're able to get this in your tagline, which, like I said, that's the little area under your shop name, Etsy can kind of read and recognize that. And your shop sections, you can optimize these as well. These are the left navigation, the little menu that says what type of items you have in your shop. Next up, we are going to do recency. This is how recent you listed your product. And like I said, this is the time. This is when you get that little boost from Etsy, but don't take advantage of that boost. Make sure that you're not, abusing the boost. Just make sure that your listing is the very best that it can be when you first list it. Don't publish a listing that has like a crappy thumbnail photo and say, oh, I'll fix it later, because you want to make sure that your listing is the best that it can be while it is boosted. Your customer and market experience score. This is your good standing with Etsy. This is Etsy saying, oh, this is the good kid. This shop has always done really good. I've never had any problems with this shop. This shop has never had any bad reviews. They've never had any cases against them. So we're going to recommend them higher. And that goes along with your shop completion.
Yes.
How complete that shop is. Oh, this is a great shop. They've done everything that we've told them to do. They've filled out their about section. They're working really hard. They obviously want to be ranked high in search. Then we've got listing quality scores. We build these based on repeat sales of a singular listing. This is why it's hard for one-of-a-kind shops to rank, because you cannot sell a one-of-a-kind product over and over again. Therefore, it can't rank in search because it can't build a history. Sales of an item over and over again, building a bestseller. This is going to build a listing quality score. And then if you get reviews on that listing, it's going to be even better, because Etsy's going to say, wow, people who bought this item really, really loved it enough to review it. So we should show it to even more people. Shipping price, like I said, isn't nearly as important, but it is important for those who filter their searches. Not a lot of people are going to do that though. So don't stress if you can't offer free shipping. It's not that big a deal. There are plenty of sellers who are insanely successful who don't offer free shipping. And then shopper habits. This is that personalization that we talked about earlier. And we're going to toss in location, simply because location is something that is in those 7 factors that Etsy says contribute to Etsy search. This is where we are located, and this is shops.
People that are located closer to you will have your results show up before people that are.
Exactly. And then language and translation I didn't include in our gears because, like I said, it's a very specific case. But if you need to do translations, do them yourself. Don't rely on Etsy to do them for you, because yours are always going to be better.
That also kind of falls under the shopper habits as well.
Language
with location.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
But this one is by itself. The 7 factors are relevancy, recency, shipping price, shopper habits, customer and market experience score, listing quality score, and language and translations. Now, can anybody tell me why I've grouped these together? Can you figure it out?
Hear it.
Let's hear it. Let's see what they say.
See what they say.
What's the difference? Why are these grouped the way that they are? Gives me a minute to kind of catch my breath here. Why did Amber say I store cookies in my tummy?
I don't know. And then a bunch of people started talking about cookies. What did you say about
I don't
cookies?
know. What did I say? I didn't say anything.
Yes, we're doing this demo on Canva.
Yeah,
Maria said Apple products have that built in, but I don't know what she was referring to.
Alt text, maybe?
I mean, all platforms do. You can hit F11.
All right.
Things you can control, things you can't control. Which ones we can control. Yes.
Awesome. That was quick. You guys got it. Oh, because
she said because incognito doesn't store cookies. She said I store them in my. Me too.
Yes, these are the things that you can control. So when you're listing a product on Etsy, let's go ahead and just grab all these little. Well, I guess we'll drag them all down here. All right, when you list your product on Etsy, say that you've got a fresh new listing, you start by adding your tags, your titles, and your attributes, which is, that's exactly what we're doing when we're filling those out. So we fill those out. We can fill out our alt text, and that's going to help us. Our location, that's already filled out for us, so we don't have to worry about that. Hopefully you've completed your actual shop before you're listing your products. You've got your shop section, so you've kind of categorized your items. Your shop has a tagline, and obviously the time that you list your product, that's all dependent on you. Whenever you list that kind of starts the timer on how Etsy begins gauging, how people interact with that listing. So these are the things that you're controlling. And then the product of that is that you make a sale, you can show up in search filters, you get reviews for your sale, and you grow your good standing with Etsy. And then these gears all work together until you have one nice big complete machine. Now, these all have to work together though. You can't say, oh, what's the most important thing? None of these are the most important thing.
They're all equally important.
Because if you have a shop that just has great tags and titles and attributes, but you don't have shop sections, your shop isn't complete, you haven't filled out your alt text, you don't have a shop tagline, then it's not going to matter if you even have that boost with the time. No. You're not going to reach a good standing, you're not going to get sales, and you're not going to get reviews. So tags, titles, and attributes by itself, those aren't the only factor that's important. Now, one thing that I will say that not a lot of people consider is that on Etsy, it doesn't matter if someone found you organically in search. If you were to make a campaign on Facebook, or if you have an email list and you send an email out to your entire email list and you say, you can switch it to us real quick. Yep. I'm having a sale on my big pink girl boss mugs. And I, am going to offer, 20% off today on my girl boss mugs for anybody who wants one. And everybody goes and buys your girl boss mug, and you've been trying to rank for the search term girl boss mug, you still are building your sales and you're still building your reviews, which is still going to build your listing quality score. You just sent the people there. You didn't wait around you didn't just sit around with your listing boosted in search, hoping that during your boost that people were buying. While that listing is boosted, you can send people to that listing to buy it and still build up those sales and still build up that review, which will help your listing quality score, which will rank that listing higher in search, which will help your good standing with Etsy. Same with the swipe files that we talked about this week in the video I posted on Tuesday. Getting those good reviews is insanely important. That's like one of the strongest signals because you've already made the sale. So that's a given that you've made the sale if you're getting a review for it. You can't review something on Etsy unless you've bought it. So you've already got the sale, but when you get that review, that is the strongest signal to Etsy. So with my swipe files, which those are listed down below, it's the 5-star customer service strategy. They're free. Basically what you're doing is you are sending your customers the messages that they've already said. We have the data to prove that these are the messages customers have said are most important to them. Go watch last week's video if you're confused. And what this is going to do is, for one, it's going to encourage them to leave a good review. For two, if they have an issue with their order, rather than leaving a bad review, which is going to hurt your good standing with Etsy, it's going to hurt your listing quality score, it's going to hurt your customer and marketplace experience score. Rather than them leaving that bad review, you've opened the doors to communication with them already by sending them those helpful messages. Yep. And then they're more likely to message you and say, hey, I really liked my product, but it was the wrong size. Is there anything we can do about that? And then you can say, yeah, of course we can exchange it. I can send you another one. I can give you a discount for, a future purchase, blah, 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 whatever it is that you have for your shop. You can help them rather than them getting it in the mail and then being like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. And then they go and leave that bad review. So that's why this 5-star customer service strategy is so important and why so many alphas rank so high in search after using it. So that's linked free down below. I've had many people over the years say that we should charge for them, but that is probably our most valuable resource that we have that we offer for free. So I would definitely start using that. But either way, guys, all of these things work together. You can't have one without the other. You can't be successful with just one of them. You have to make sure that you're using them all. So anytime I hear someone say, what's the most important thing?
There isn't. That's not a thing.
Sales and reviews are the most important thing. but you can't get those without all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and get into questions, guys.
Yeah, get questions in. They could be about the topic at hand, preferred, or if you don't have one at the topic at hand, you can get whatever questions in you need. It is that time of the day.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you for bringing this down, by the way.
You are very welcome. I didn't bring it down. It's been sitting here the whole time.
Oh, has it? I'm like deathly allergic to peaches, but the peach seltzer water has.
He loves peach.
I love peach, but I'm deathly allergic to them. But I can drink the peach seltzer water because it's not real peach.
Let's see here. Exactly are back charges or filing a case through PayPal? When a customer does this, doesn't that mean it's fraudulent?
Back charges or filing a case. So if they file a case through PayPal, it means that they are they're disputing their purchase.
It used to be a scam thing. I thought PayPal got rid of back charges because it used to be people would like go into like Twitch streams and pay people like $10,000 for PayPal and then go in and challenge it on PayPal, and then it would cost the person like several $100s in fees because of how PayPal. I didn't think they did back charges anymore. I could be wrong, but back charges are usually when PayPal charges you a fee for doing something fraudulent if somebody files a case against you. And if you have sent them the product and you do have the shipping and you can confirm that it's delivered, you can dispute that with PayPal.
Yeah, and I would
dispute it with Etsy, honestly.
Yeah, I would start with Etsy.
I just asked about free shipping in eRank today. Most of my items are above $35. I've had to struggle with a loss due to shipping to crazy places outside the US with insane shipping costs.
Yeah, don't make sure that you're charging what you need to charge for your shipping. Don't take a loss for your shipping, or
people in those countries are going to be used to paying that shipping charge.
Yeah, if they're purchasing from the US, then they know. Or, you can also incorporate your shipping price into your product price, but if people are buying from another country and they know that they're buying from the US, then they can expect to pay more. They know that. I'm sure anybody who's not in the US right now, if you bought something from the US, wouldn't you expect to pay shipping? Like you just know. You know you're going to pay shipping.
Sales go down after the holidays. Does that have a negative impact?
No, because everybody's sales go down after the holidays.
It's normal. That's the thing, is if there is a negative impact, everyone's experiencing it.
Now, and the thing is,
evens the play.
Yeah, the thing is, not making sales for a period of time doesn't get rid of your listing quality score. You don't lose it. The same as if you go on vacation mode. I know a lot of people say, I went on vacation mode and now my sales have dropped off and I've lost my listing quality score. No, you didn't. It's asleep. That's what happens. It hibernates. So
it takes some time.
Yeah, if your listing is deactivated, if your listing is sold out, or if you go on vacation mode and all of your listings are unavailable for a period of time, basically nobody's able to interact with them. So the listing it hibernates, it goes to sleep. And basically when you return from a vacation mode, or if you have a long extensive period of time that you're not making sales, it's a good idea to wake that listing up. And how you do that is you send people to it. That's where that external marketing is really helpful. If you've gone on vacation mode and you're afraid that you've fallen out of search, the best way to tell Etsy to put you back is to wake up your listings by sending people to them. So that's why social media is so important. You send people directly to your shop from social media so they can start clicking around and interacting. Yeah. Then Etsy can put it back in search. So I would focus on social media marketing, but don't stress too much because everybody's sales drop off after the holiday.
Can you recover if you were dinged for copyright? I had 2 items that I didn't think were an issue until they were. Etsy put me on reserves and that was just removed.
So it just takes time. Same with if you get a bad review. It's not going to ruin your shop if you get a bad review. You just kind of have to bury it. I'm sure that it probably did take a small hit on your good standing with Etsy, but as long as you're still following the rules, you're not making any more, products related to the copyright, which it sounds like you're not, then you should be okay. I would just make sure that you're doing lots of external marketing like we talked about. Drive some traffic to your own shop just in case your SEO isn't doing as good. And then over time, you'll be able to build it back up. That's the good thing, is that even if you do get dinged for something, or even if you do get a bad review, you can bury it and you can still get your good standing with Etsy back up.
Yeah, a couple people asked. Okay. Do shop updates rank at all? I've never done any, if that's what the videos are called, like ads.
Your shop updates are not the videos. Videos are listing videos.
It's a good way to communicate with your audience, though.
So shop updates used to show up in your Etsy feed on mobile, but I don't think they do anymore. They might. I never see them. And I mostly shop on mobile. Basically, your shop updates, I use them as a way to share an Instagram style lifestyle image of my products that will show on your storefront itself for people who are scrolling through. It gives them an additional view of your product. Do they help with ranking? No, they don't. It's more for the people who are shopping. It's giving them a little, little window peek. It's giving them an extra little look. That's why I say don't just take your thumbnail photo and stick it in your shop updates, because you're just showing them the same photo twice. There's no reason to do that. Show them a cool photo of the product in use. And in terms of videos, if it's listing videos, no, those don't have anything to do with ranking. But once again, it's a service to your buyers.
Yes.
You're showing
it's something to show them.
Yeah, you're showing them an additional view of your product and giving them a they're able to see all angles of it if you're doing a video and things like that.
Excuse me.
Which could increase the odds that they actually follow through with the purchase, which that could help your shop, because then you make the sale, you get the review, you build your listing quality score, and so on.
And this is the person with the PayPal dispute. But what if Etsy hasn't been involved? This customer even has insurance and everything. It feels very scammy, but I haven't ever experienced anything like this, so I don't quite understand it. They jump straight to filing a case with PayPal. They act like they don't want to involve Etsy. Does PayPal contact Etsy? Okay, so what I would do...
You contact Etsy.
Yeah, so here, hold on.
Okay.
It depends on where you're getting the notification from. If you're getting an email from PayPal, reach out to PayPal. You still need to reach out to Etsy either way, but at the end of the day, it's probably gonna end up being an issue you have to resolve with PayPal. But you also need to make sure that Etsy's involved, because this person shouldn't be buying on Etsy. If they're going on there and they're buying a product, if you did all the things you're supposed to do, if you ship them the product and you know that it was delivered, if you're communicating with the person, you're doing all the steps that you should do to try to resolve an angry customer, and it's still not working, then you should get with Etsy, because this person shouldn't be shopping on Etsy, because it sounds like they're trying to scam you. But I don't know. I would have to, there's a lot more to this. So the one on the right is customer service. But yeah, get with Etsy and get with PayPal. Talk to PayPal about it. Tell them what you've done, that you shipped them a product. You haven't had the product returned. This person is just doing this because this is against PayPal's terms of service. It used to be a huge issue on Twitch where people would, like I said, they would go in and they would donate like $10,000, and then they would immediately go file a dispute with PayPal, and then you would end up getting charged because they had to refund this person like thousands and thousands of dollars. It is an old school scam. So the package is still in transit. Yeah. So then they can't be disputing that. It's not like it's been lost in the mail for 6 months. It's in transit. So get with PayPal, get with Etsy, and communicate with everybody.
Yeah, and try to communicate with the customer too.
Yes.
I would message them first.
Absolutely.
Say, here, I looked at your tracking. It is on the way. Mail is running a little slower due to the pandemic.
And weather. The entire Midwest is completely snowed out right now.
I appreciate your patience. I know how frustrating that this can be. I'm very frustrated as the seller that my products are taking longer than usual to arrive, but I assure you it is on the way. If after blah, blah, blah date, it hasn't arrived, please reach out to me personally, and I'll make sure that I fix this issue for you. However, I do request that you
remove the dispute.
Yeah, remove the dispute on PayPal.
I would message them. I would give it like a day and a half. Don't give it a long time, because PayPal is pretty snippety with time frames and stuff. I think you have 30 days to fight any kind of dispute. So get on that real quick. Otherwise, it'll end up expiring and you'll just end up being charged for something that wasn't your fault. Normally I'm on your side with this stuff, but PayPal can be kind of crappy, so be careful. I'm actively talking to them. That's how I found out about the PayPal. PayPal hasn't contacted me.
Okay. The person about that had a question.
Last year, my Etsy-driven shop views were really high. My SEO are still current, but Etsy-driven traffic is insanely low, and my social media is showing as the main traffic driver. Is it just my shop?
Probably not. Everybody's shop is going to have different traffic drivers. Wait, last year, my Etsy-driven shop views were really... Okay, so your SEO.
Yes.
Okay, so...
Organic.
Okay, so you said your SEOs, I'm assuming you mean your keywords are still current. Does that... Okay, so your keywords are still current. What I'm wondering is, because I hear that a lot where people say like I've optimized my listings and I used to do really good and now they're not. Have you gone through and actually checked that your keywords are actually still being searched for? Have you checked to see that your keywords are actually still in demand as of right now by using eRank and seeing that, like, based on the month, are you monitoring them? I recommend, let's go ahead and Where's my mouse? There it is. If you go into, let's do keyword. Type in, I don't know, silver necklace. These, type in necklace. Okay. All right. So, just, and this might be a refresher for you. You might already know this, but this is helpful for everybody. So if you're going into eRank.com, I recommend creating yourself a keyword list, typing in some of the keywords that you have used in your listing. Let's say that you listed something as silver necklace. Maybe you did sterling silver necklace, silver jewelry, chain necklace. You can see the dates and where these things are popular. So for example, necklace earring set was really, really popular in June, but then we're looking here and nobody's really interested in this product. So you want to make sure that your search trend is still relevant. It might have been really, really relevant at a certain time, but then it could have dropped off. And if you collect all of the keywords that you are that you're trying to optimize for in a list, then you don't have to go and search them manually to do your research. Every month you could just pop in, you can go into your keyword lists, you can choose your keyword list that you want to look at, and you can double check how it's doing right now. So I can see January chain necklace started to go up. So this is a good listing. You could even add a color flag to it. So I'm like, okay, this is green. Green is good. And then maybe if this one's starting to drop off, you're like, oh, I need to put this as red so I know to keep an eye on it. So that's what I would recommend. Did we get any other? I have for holiday driven items, wreath maker. So I check keywords seasonally. I would recommend if your actual Etsy traffic is starting to be lower, but you know that your keywords are good, honestly, what I would recommend is start hopping onto some of those platforms like TikTok and like Instagram Reels to drive some of that traffic directly to your shop. I know that you've already got that, but keep driving people there because you can still boost your listing quality scores. And then if you know that your SEO is good, it's going to help you to boost higher in search just because you've got the sales and reviews. And if you're struggling to get the reviews, use the swipe files that are linked down below, the 5-star customer service strategy, because like I said, those things are going to help improve your overall ranking. That way you've got your SEO, that's good, but then you can make sure that you're actually ranking high for those search terms that you want to optimize for. You know that people are searching for those terms, obviously. You're just not ranking as high for them, or people aren't finding you in search. And the way to do that is to build up your listing quality scores by making sure that you are driving traffic to those listings. And you can do that externally. So I would do the Instagram Reels. We've got a 30-day Instagram Reels challenge. Friday Bean episode from, I think it's grow. I think it just says grow your Instagram. It's like from 3 weeks ago. Okay.
Does being a star seller help customer market score?
No.
As of right now, I don't want to say no because they haven't said anything about it. But as of what we know now, not necessarily.
No, your star seller badge, it doesn't have weight in search. It doesn't contribute to your ranking. As of right now, the star seller badge is just Etsy's way of trying to up the bar because basically during the pandemic, we had a lot of people who had never shopped on Etsy before. They were used to shopping on Amazon. They were used to Amazon service. They were used to Amazon response rates. They were used to Amazon shipping times. And then they fled to Etsy and then they're upset because they're not getting their product the next day. And they don't understand that that's not how Etsy works. So what Etsy is trying to do is it's trying to encourage sellers to be the very, very best that they can be by being more like Amazon, being more like these bigger platforms.
And they did that because if you guys didn't know, they bought Reverb, which is a website kind of like Etsy. It's kind of like eBay for used music instruments and high-end music instruments. We were going to do a video on the star seller badge because we do have data, but here's the issue with the star seller. because when we ask customers if the star seller badge is important, there's a bias behind that.
Because it sounds important.
Because you're presenting it to them in a way that you're saying, hey, here's this thing that you've never been asked if you need before. Is this important? And they're almost always going to say yes because there's a bias behind that. So as of right now, I wouldn't worry about the customer's perspective of it. Just keep an eye out for if Etsy starts including it in something that they consider to be important for your shop. As of right now, it doesn't appear like it does anything. It's a pretty participation ribbon that you get for going above and beyond. That's kind of it.
Yeah, and the fact that sellers stress out about it and freak out, it's really,
they shouldn't have added it. To be honest, I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think it was an awful thing to add. I understand that they want people to trust in the sellers that do very, very well and ignore the sellers that don't, because those sellers that do well are the ones that are good for their platform. But we already have a 5-star review system, and everyone's familiar with a 5-star or 10-star review system because that's what we've had since the beginning of the year. Like, everybody knows how to use it, and the star seller badge is so arbitrary and bullcrap and so hard to maintain that, and it's out of your control. Like, someone had commented that they got a 4-star without any explanation and it removed their star seller badge. That's why I don't like it. It's stupid. It's outside of your control. Because there's always this, and there's probably a few of you out there that will review things and will never give anything a 5-star review unless it like destroys their expectations. Like, it's just so much better than they were expecting to get. And that's not how review systems are supposed to work. So it ends up being this thing where like you end up getting it removed because there's some dill hole that won't ever review something at 5 stars.
It's like the teacher that never gives A's because he says nobody's perfect.
Right. You'll never get a 100 in this class because I'm a douche.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's those people.
All I have to say is don't stress about star seller. If you go on eRank, you can actually see what the top sellers on Etsy are. You can see a full list of the #1 sellers on Etsy. Most of them don't have star seller badge.
No, don't bother about it. Don't worry about it. If you get it, celebrate it. Be happy about it. I wouldn't announce it because there's a chance that it won't last forever. Yeah. There's a chance that you're going to have some dingbat go in there and give you a 4-star review because they don't give 5-star reviews, and then you're going to lose it for a month. So don't get too excited about it. All right, Gilda, I'm planning on opening my shop at the end of April, and it never occurred to me to start marketing and posting videos until I had a shop to send them to. When do you think I should start marketing?
As soon as possible.
Yeah,
so I
started ASAP.
So I recommend starting to market as soon as you have something to market. Start teasing what you're working on. Even if nobody engages with it, start building your brand presence. Do sneak peeks where your pictures are kind of blurry and they can't quite tell what you're working on. Do close-up so you can't see what it is.
Make it apparent that the product isn't yet available, but it will be.
Yeah. Do countdowns like, 1 week until we launch.
Just make sure you're actually committing to that date.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people like 1 week, and then that week goes along and they're like, I need another week.
Yeah. So a good example of this, I wish I had a product to show you to be a good example. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the most recent one I did was my book. But if you go to, actually, you know what? Can you pull up and see if Instagram is logged in? And if my Facebook should be logged in, you should be able to log in right with it. It might already be logged in.
It is.
And then can you type in explore the channel? Okay, go ahead and pop up there. Okay, so this is obviously for my book. It's technically a product. But before my book was available to buy, I started marketing it about a year before the book was released. So if we go all the way down to the bottom, you can see that I kind of posted, pictures of the book cover. I was giving them sneak peeks. I was giving them little quotes and things. I was making little videos. I was giving teasers of the products that were going to be available. And it's no different than creating a product, guys. You give them little glimpses. You think of it almost like a movie trailer, where if you go to the theater, you see like the best little scenes from the movie, but you haven't completely given away what it's about. You're not giving away the twists and turns. And then when you get close to the launch, you can do really, really cool things like do giveaways that drive more people to come like your page. You can give away one of the cool products that you're working on to drive more people to actually engage with your page. I like to do countdowns. to the launch. So just little countdowns until your product is available, and then making the big announcement that your product is available. It's the same with anything that you do. I do this for products. I do it for my book. We do it for new eRank tools. You can switch it back to us. We do it for Handmade Alpha Academy. We do it when we have freebies. Amber and I run a podcast for teenagers that we do it for. Marketing is all the same. Just do it as early as possible and build that momentum early, because the people who are most interested while you're building momentum are going to be the first to buy.
Caitlin said, "This is my first look at your channel. You're both amazing. I can't
awesome.
find the 5-star customer tips you were talking about."
Those are down below in the description for the video. If you have to click show more. There's like little arrows that click to expand out the description. There's going to be 3 little brown heart emojis. Those are the 3 freebies that we're offering. One is the 5-star customer service strategy. That's the one that you're going to want to grab for the 5-star reviews. One is my 2022 marketing calendar. That is going to tell you good times to list new products, good time to start thinking about holidays to optimize for, when you start, should start planning for the holiday season for Black Friday. And then Amber's wholesale cheat sheet is also down there. It still works, right, Amber? You said that it's a little outdated, but it still works, right? It's down there as well. Those are all 3 of those things are free though.
My shop is less than a year old. I have 4 niches in and building my email list. Should I target each niche group individually, or better to limit my shop to one niche and focus on one niche?
So
depends on what you mean by 4 different niches. Are you selling like, I don't know, like 4 totally different products, or is it like subgenres of one niche?
99% of the time people say that they have 4 niches, or they have 5 niches, they have 2 niches, and they don't. They have 1.
It's still one target customer most of the time that are all interested in like different things within one group.
If you sell hippie wall art and hippie mugs, that doesn't mean you have 4 niches. That means your niche is hippies. If you have, mom necklaces and mom purses, it's not that your niches are necklaces or purses. Your niches are moms. So it just depends on what you sell. If you sell cigar boxes and baby toys, then yeah, you probably have 2 different target audiences, and maybe you should split those up.
Maybe not. I'm thinking of switching from fitness stuff to POD gifts, shirts, mugs, etc. Should I switch my current shop and start it over, or close it and start over?
If it's going to be non-fitness related for your POD, I would recommend if the target audience is the same, you could keep it the same. What I would recommend is if you still have the products for your current shop, maybe keep your current shop open while you're building your new shop if they're totally like different target audiences. And just that way, in the event that your POD like takes a while to take off, you still have your fitness shop. But if they're the same target audience and you want to keep things kind of the same, you could totally just put those products in your shop.
Wouldn't be a fitness related
POD. Okay. Then I would say keep your fitness shop open, work on your POD shop, because POD shops, they take a little bit of time to get off the ground. You have to put in a lot more sweat equity with them, simply because you have to make more sales to make a profit because of sales margins. You're giving a lot of that money to the POD company. So if I were you, in terms of like just the financial stability side and making sure that you're still making money, I would keep your current shop open while you're building that one, get the POD shop on its feet, and then close your other shop if you're not feeling passionate about it anymore, which I get. I completely understand that.
Dulcie said, question, is it okay to use a trademark term in the tag section without advertising it anywhere else, or is that also infringement? Yeah, you can't use the name of something in any way, shape, or form if you're going to be making a profit off of it.
Yep.
That's just general.
Yeah. Because...
And then she also asked, how would you describe Lisa Frank as a style without saying her name?
90s, rainbow, retro, colorful. I would go with 90s themed. Like I know the style you're talking about, as long as you're not directly doing Lisa Frank's characters and you're doing your own rainbow characters. Lisa Frank doesn't own rainbow animals. she owns her specific characters, which they all have names, by the way. I used to know all of their names. So as long as you're not replicating her characters and you're making your own rainbow characters, those are your rainbow characters. So I would just say 90s style rainbow, even 80s, 90s.
Do you have an eRank for Dummies video? This is where I'm stuck. I just don't understand the research keywords.
I've got a ton of eRank videos. If you go to my channel and under my search bar, you just type in eRank.
We're also going to be doing a new series of SEO related videos coming up, where I'm assuming you're probably going to touch on that as well.
That's going to be
can't do SEO without getting.
Yeah. I want to do an SEO doctor series. Now, I've noticed I was doing some research with other YouTubers who are doing Etsy SEO, and they're all just saying the same crap. Etsy SEO YouTubers, there aren't a lot of authorities out there other than Pam and I, because Pam and I work for eRank. We're the only YouTubers who work for eRank. I mean, I know that there are other Etsy SEO services out there. eRank is the highest rated. It is the best one out there, in my opinion. Most people say it's the best one. It's the most used. It's the most preferred.
We work for them, but we're not paid to say that.
No. So there aren't any other authorities to talk about it. That's why a couple days ago I asked on my actual YouTube post feed what some of your guys' SEO questions were. And you guys gave me some really good ones. So we're going to turn those into videos. But I do have some on my channel. I've got a ton. If you just go to my actual channel page and type in Etsy SEO eRank, you'll get all of those videos. And obviously the more recent ones are going to be the recent. All right.
Yeah. My views suck. Most keywords eRank says not found in the first 500. Would I be better off trying to drive traffic? I need to do reels. Find terms that do.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Can you go back up to that question? I need.
It's right here.
Okay. Most keywords eRank says not found. So wait. So the keywords that you're using in your listings, eRank is telling you that your listings aren't showing up in the first 500 products, correct? Is that what you're saying, that you're not being found? It sounds like you need to do a better healthy balance of high demand keywords versus lower demand keywords, higher search keywords versus easier to rank for keywords. Now, one thing I will say is that Etsy is very, very, very saturated right now. So it's really hard to find keywords that don't have insanely high competition. And you can still rank for those high competition keywords over time by building listing quality scores and basically telling Etsy that you want to rank higher. But I wouldn't worry too much if, you know, it's really hard. Like I said, you have to have a good balance. And I also recommend that if you've got one of those products that you're really struggling to find good keywords for, don't try to think of 100 ways to describe a pink girl boss mug. Start also trying to incorporate in some keywords based on who it could be for. So, girl, you could do like, you know, I don't know, birthday gifts for boss. And then try to get your girl boss mug into searches for gifts. You can try to think a little bit more about the recipient, things like that. And that can kind of help you because those tend to be a little less saturated.
If you have something that comes in multiple colors like t-shirts, would you fill out the primary color attribute with one of the colors that it comes in?
No. Don't fill out the colors if it comes in multiple. And you should have the option to say, I have more than one. And that's going to tie into your variations, because if you've got variations, then you obviously offer more than one. So there should be an option to add, I have more than one. And then you'll have your variations down under your description that you can fill out each of the individual variations.
Joan says she likes my hair. Thank you very much. It's almost long enough I can actually put it all in a ponytail.
He's got this full Viking thing going on.
I'm waiting for it to be long enough so I can actually like put some stuff in it.
He wants to do like little like Viking beads and braid it.
Yeah.
He's got
Probably
that.
do like one braid along the side.
He's got that big face. You know, I see a lot of people who can't pull off that Viking thing, and they just look like they got like a little like pebbles.
Well, without all the
ponytail.
fancy adornments and stuff, I just kind of look like the yoga instructor your husband doesn't want you to see anymore. You know, I kind of got that thing going on. I'm a yogi.
That's hot.
I'm the sexy yogi. You know,
like Yogi Bear.
No, like Yogi the yoga instructor. Your
He's
husband
giving
doesn't want you to see anymore.
Yogi Bear.
How much time do you do for a countdown? 3 days wasn't enough, and 3 weeks didn't work for me either.
Why didn't it work for you? What didn't work about it? I like to do 1 month. I don't do it every day. I do every day starting out a week, but I like to do like 2 months until 3 months until I would say, 3 months out you can start doing monthly countdowns, but if you're talking about daily, I would start at the 7 days out mark. 1 week, 6 days, 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, tomorrow, and then surprise, it's out.
I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. And this person said with the 4 niches says selling 4 totally different golf, dogs, weddings, flowers. Yeah, you need to specialize a little bit. That's too many different things.
Yeah,
it's like walking into a store that just sells eBay, but all of it.
Yeah, okay. So here's a good example for you guys. Imagine you go to the mall, right? And there are 2 different shops, and we all know what these shops are, okay? So you go into one shop, and it's all really pretty, like flowy flower dresses, and they've got like big pretty potted plants and vines hanging down, and you can get pretty little clay mugs, and everything is just done in beige and feels like sitting out on the front porch on a nice spring morning, and it feels so nice and it smells really pretty. You go into that store, but then you go into the store next door, and they've got like Pokemon cards, and they've got footballs, and they've got like these weird like knockoff Coach purses.
And then they got like a wall of poorly made jerseys.
Yeah, and then they've got like some weird shoes that look like Nikes, but they just say Nike on them. And then like you get
Abibus.
And you go in there and you're looking around and it kind of smells weird, and you feel really uncomfortable and you have no idea what the shop is about. Don't be that store. Be the pretty store. You want to make sure that everything makes sense together. If somebody walks in and they're like, who is all this for? Is this a kid's shop? Is this for that? Then you're a commodity store, and commodity stores don't do as well as stores that specialize on Etsy.
Some people had said for the Lisa Frank stuff, Rainbow Technicolor. Technicolor's cool. You could try, if you're going along that theme, you could try some Vaporwave stuff.
Vaporwave, yeah.
Vaporwave's pretty popular right now. Question, I've heard boho is copyrighted. Do either of you know if that's true? Okay, so I tried Googling it and I didn't get anything on it, but the reason that I highly doubt that is it's short for Bohemian, which is a part of the world. It's people that come from Bohemia, or currently it refers to people who dress in an unconventional way.
Do you have eRank up over there still? What is eRank?
I don't think you, because it's a culture of people, I don't think you can.
Go to the Trend Buzz. Trends. You work for it and you don't use it.
I don't. I read the data.
Click on the USPTO trademark database. Search there.
Uh-oh.
You want to share the screen so this?
Not till I zoom it in now. Just doing a Google search.
There we go. Clothing, namely breast and hand warmers.
But this is a file for a patent.
What's the other page that it gave?
Boho.
Gonna get all analytical on it.
Now I'm getting stuff for Mercedes cars. I'm not getting anything.
All right.
Boho copy. Talking to them. Entertain them while I do that.
Well, if I had another question to answer.
The only thing that I could potentially see is there's a brand called Boho Beauty Official. But the thing is it's a term that refers to a people, and it's short for a people, Bohemian people, which is like a part of like the Czech Republic or something like that, I think.
Feel free to blast us if we're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, blast us if we're wrong, but like, I don't think that you can. I mean, they could try, but I don't think that you could copyright something like that because it refers to a people. That's like somebody copywriting the
Ohioans.
term. Yeah, Ohioans. Like that's not going to fly because they don't own that. So I don't know. You're probably safe with it, and there are probably like, if I were to search on eRank, if I were to go over here to like and just type in boho.
Can you share this with them? Thank you.
This is not an infrequently used term. And the things that are associated with this term, like, yeah, I wouldn't be worried about it with that kind of stuff. You can if you want to avoid it, it's always better to be safe than sorry. And don't sue me if your shop gets shut down for using boho. But I've seen every time I get on Etsy, there's a listing that says boho. So unless they're going to remove like 50,000 plus listings, then I doubt they're. Don't worry about it.
Crystal Jones.
It's this one here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Thanks for answering my question yesterday. Question: is there a way to set up one item on sale in my Etsy shop, or do I have to put the whole shop on sale?
You should be able to put in your sales and promotions tab. You should be able to select which item you would like to offer the discount for. I believe when you actually set up your sale, you should be able to just select the items that you want to include in your sale.
I understand SEO and keywords and what they do, how they work. I get brain dead once I get to eRank. I have the paid version.
What specifically confuses you? I know that eRank is pretty complicated, but go ahead and share eRank for me real quick. I'll give like a quick rundown. So when you get to eRank, screen's gonna look like this. Right now it's logged into 𝔹𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒. This is just gonna give you an overview of your shop. So this is your listings, keywords that you're currently tracking, your superstar keywords. These are the keywords that you've told eRank that you most want to be identified for. So for 𝔹𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒, we're a print-on-demand shop. And you can see what listings you are ranking for spotted on Etsy. Apparently, Amber and Starla keywords are the most searched. We do have a shop, guys, if you guys want to check it out. But the number one things that you're going to want to use while optimizing your listings are in the tools. I recommend going to the keyword tool, typing in a couple broad keywords related to what you want to search for. So, I don't know. Let's search for mug. So mug is very, very broad, but what we want to do is try to narrow it down. We want to try to find keywords that are more closely related to what we're trying to sell. We don't just want to put mug into our listing by itself. We want to try to make a long tail keyword out of it. That's something that's very specific that someone would type in to purchase. So we go down here, and then we start taking a look at the words that are, more specific. So we've got coffee mug. That's not too bad. Nope. Personalized mug. We can put these together. We could do personalized coffee mug in broad match for coffee mug and personalized mug. Campfire mug. Ceramic mug. Ceramic coffee mug. Look at that. This one has
also make sure that you guys are checking your plurals and things like that. That's one part. I work for eRank as well, and I analyze a lot of the data, and I look at what people are searching, and people specifically that complain that it's not working for them. I go in and I look at what they're actually doing. And a lot of the times people are putting an S on the end of a word that doesn't need there, or they're omitting an S on a word that needs to be there. So if there's different ways that you can spell a word, if there's different ways that you can pluralize the word, make sure you're searching all of those if it's something that you're trying to rank for, because sometimes it can go from 0 search results to maximum search results just by adding or removing a plural.
Anyway, just going through and finding keywords, looking at the search trends, seeing where those search trends are. It's going to be really, really hard to find products that don't have high Etsy competition. So try to find a balance. I might list my mug as a campfire mug because I see that this one doesn't have as much competition. But then I might also throw in some of these terms that have a higher competition as well, like camping mug. And then I'll do a nice balance of, keywords that have high competition versus lower competition. and try to rank that way. But it's all a game of experimentation. Your keywords are going to take around 60 to 90 days to fully set in because we have that boosted period where Etsy is trying to gather data on your listing. It takes a long time to actually start organically ranking for those keywords. So if you're going in there and editing them and changing them all the time, then you're not going to be giving Etsy enough time to really gauge your progress.
We got 5 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and slide through
You
these.
want to go ahead and put us full screen
I
again?
didn't realize I hadn't. Priscilla had said, I think it's boho chic, but I'd have to check the USPTO website. Still, I don't think that they could do that because it's still implying that what that word is still part of their style. I think if you copyright something, then you're owning like partial, if that makes any sense. But somebody even down here said that Etsy even has boho in the drop down list.
Yeah, boho
so
should be fine.
you're fine. It refers to a people. You can't copyright that.
We did that one.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going back through. Miss anything? Lightning round. If a shop location is in one country but the product ships from a different country, POD, how does that affect the locational SEO? I think because the listings are still selling for you, it's just your location because it's going off of your IP.
Yeah, I believe that it's going to be your location specifically.
Mhm.
But as long as you're actually putting your verified partner, your Etsy, your for example, if you're doing Printful, you can put them as your actual partner on your profile. You're also filling out where they're shipping from based on the Printful warehouse location. So
Ragnar. Yes, Ragnar Lothbrok. Let's see. Getting your foot in the door with the generalized keywords like these, then narrow down your audiences once with the more specific ones.
exactly. That's perfect, Aaron.
I found star sellers are much more likely to reply to inquiries in a timely fashion, but when I buy on Etsy, that's important to me, but maybe not to everyone. We just had a video on Tuesday about responses to customers, and yes, it is important to them. It is important to almost everyone. There are so many places to look for copyrighted words. What's the best process to how to find out if something is copyrighted? The USPTO website.
Yeah, USPTO.
I was right. Bohemia is the westernmost and largest region of the Czech Republic. Thank you, Amber. I was correct.
That's like copywriting Cajun. Yeah, I can't do that.
Cannot do that. How do you find your shipping labels after you've already purchased and print them? There is like no way to reprint shipping.
You've got 24 hours, I believe, to reprint them. If you haven't printed them by then. Have you downloaded them already?
If you've downloaded them once already and you can't find them, go into your downloads, which on Windows, if you click on your little folder, there should just be a link to downloads. I don't know off the top of my head where it would actually be. It's going to be like C/users/your user/downloads. Something like that.
But it should be, if you go into the actual purchase, the product purchase, if the label is still available, there should be the little tracking number, and it should like show like that it's been shipped. Because when you print the label, Etsy marks it as shipped, and you should be able to go into there, and you should have a button that says to print more labels or to print labels. But if it's been like
if it's been too long, then you have it's either 24 or 48. If it's been too long, you'll have to rebuy the labels.
But
and then invalidate the old label.
Yeah, you can refund the label if you're like a day late. You can refund it and then redo it.
Thanks for your help. Do you suggest I delete all 3 other niche listings or keep that shop and open a new shop with one niche? I would, to be honest with you, we answer this question pretty often. Pick one shop for the time being until you're an expert and you think that the shop kind of runs itself, especially if you're doing POD. Stick with one, and then if you want to open a shop later on when you're committing 2 shops, like she always says, 2 shops does not equal double money. That's not how that works. You're splitting, no matter what, you're splitting your effort. You can't put 100% of effort into more than one thing.
Because you are one person. You are dividing it in half.
And if you're like a year, 2 years down the road, maybe you've got an employee that helps you with things, that handles all the day-to-day bull crap, you can open up a second shop and put 100% of your effort into that.
Now, one thing I will say that I have been experimenting with is if you want to make a little like tiny passive income, you want to try to test some things out and you don't want to touch anything and you don't want to run the customer service for it, Etsy is not the place to go because you still have to do customer service even if you are doing things like print on demand. Redbubble. I opened a Red. I'm not telling you guys what it is because I don't want you to find it because I'm letting it run its course on its own organically. But I started a Redbubble shop about a year ago, and I make sales from that all the time. I don't do any customer service. I don't log into it. I don't look at it.
The amount of money you make on it's pretty
pretty
minuscule But it's like
My margins are also very low.
yeah, very low margins. But I mean, at the same time, it's passive income. There's no work required for it.
You could just make a bunch of products and then never log back into the Redbubble account
and just leave it.
and just leave it.
Maybe log in a couple times a year just to make sure there's nothing changed.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yep. It's doing just fine.
Never been able to find them to reprint. I have to actually repurchase shipping. So there's a way to download them. We've done them.
Yeah, you should be able to refund your old labels. I've definitely done that a whole lot because I'll mess something up or someone will message me and they'll say, can you ship it to this address instead? And then I'll forget and I'll ship the original address and I'll say, oh crap. So I'll have to refund that label, print another one.
I think Shabby Chic has a copyright. Maybe that's what you're thinking of. That's the second
Shabby
person to say it. If somebody can prove that with a link, feel free to post it in the comments after the videos. I'm sure somebody with really messed up hair and an angry attitude is going to tell us in the comment section anyway. But had a Redbubble shop for over a decade, absolutely passive. They just send me money every once in a while. Yeah, that's what we do. I considered making just like 15 or 20 of those shops, just like posting all the most random crap in them.
I love it. You just start your Redbubble and they handle everything. They're just
set it and leave it.
They're just like, thanks for the designs. Bye bye. Here's your money.
They make a ton of money off of you, especially if your margin's set low. But you don't have to do any work. So
I make like 36 cents like every few days for stickers and things that sell.
Whoever buys us a coffee once or twice a year.
Yeah.
But that's all the questions that we have. Laura Ashley owns Shabby Chic.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. I get at least $50 or more each month from them. Nice spending money, over $200 on sales over Christmas time.
Yeah, it's great. You can just let it go. I love it. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. A couple quick things. If you want to support Starla in a non-Etsy related thing, my book came out about 4 weeks ago. I can't remember. I do recommend that if you want to buy the hardback edition, that you buy it from Barnes & Noble or Books A Million and not Amazon, simply because there's been some issues with the hardbacks through Amazon. They are listed on Amazon, but not through me. They're listed through an independent bookseller. If you order it through Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or pretty much anywhere else other than Amazon, then you'll get it a lot faster. If you did order the hardback edition of my book and you haven't received it yet, please let me know. If you're in the UK, your hardback editions will come faster. If you're in the US, though, Amazon sucks. They're the worst company to work with for trying to sell your books. Paperback, though, is Prime eligible. You can buy that on Amazon. It ships right away. And they look really, really nice when printed on Prime. And then it's also available on Kindle. It's also available on Nook. If you guys like ebooks, the only thing it's not available on is audiobook. But yeah, it's called The Channel, and it is appropriate for ages 16 and up due to lots of bad words and a little bit of violence in adult situations. But I put a whole lot of work into this book, and I'm really, really happy that so many alphas have picked it up. It makes me feel really, really happy. But just like everything that we've talked about today with ranking, you guys reading my book, buying it on Amazon, and leaving reviews, that helps my ranking as well. I think I'm in like the top 3,000 for cyberpunk books. I would like to get in the top 1,000 at some point. That would be really, really nice. But that only is going to be possible if you guys help me out and review it after you've read it. So I hope that you enjoy it.
It is genuinely a good book. Yes. So Shabby Chic is trademarked, not copyrighted. It's trademarked. Yeah. However, it's specifically for that product. So she doesn't have the term copyright. So you can still technically use Shabby Chic. You just can't use it on the specific product that it is copyright for. I think it's the textile pack. Anyway, always check your stuff.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. You guys read it?
Awesome. Glad you guys love it. Make sure that you've liked the video. If you haven't already, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Our ratio is pretty decent. Click the bell icon.
Go get a free eRank membership if you don't have one.
Go get a free eRank membership. It's literally free. And we don't sell your data to anybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of services that do.
We don't.
What?
Just trying to think who I can't. I won't say any names. Well, there are other Etsy SEO platforms that make their money off of selling your data. And I don't think it's anybody we've ever talked about here before. So I'm not too worried about it. But we don't do that. As last I checked, we don't do that.
No, we don't. Last I checked.
A lot of the companies that are like Chinese owned that do this kind of stuff because they're the people that own the data anyway, and then they also use it to sell your data to other people.
It's usually in those tiny terms of service that you agreed to.
Yeah.
Which you don't read.
I mean, if you're on Facebook, Google, any email platform, just about anything, they all sell your data anyway. If you have a cell phone, everything you sell or everything that you search is sold. If you have a smart TV, everything you search or say around your smart remote, you've agreed to terms of service that they can sell that information. It's kind of creepy. If you just about anything with a microphone built into it, you have agreed to terms of service for them to sell the things that you say. That's why you can say something near your smartphone and you get an ad for it 15 minutes later on Facebook. It's because it's listening to you. Anyway.
Thanks for the bedtime stories, Mark.
Creepy. It's fine. It happens to everybody.
Mr. Moore was
Happens to billionaires.
Mr. Moore's job was to sniff out data when he was in the military.
Yeah. No, this is open. It's open information.
Well,
you can know about it. Who was it? It was Cracked. They do those if whatever was honest things. They did one about smart TVs and they did one about data selling. You should go watch. You should go check them out. Don't watch them around your kids. They're usually not safe for work. But they do a lot of really good stuff. And most of the stuff that they say in their videos, they take real, true things and put them
Make them funny.
Yeah. But anyway, that's enough of that bull crap. Leave a comment down below. Let us know which was your favorite part. Let us know if there's any other eRank or Etsy questions that we can answer. We're going to be doing videos coming up soon on SEO. And I guess we'll see you guys not this upcoming Tuesday. So it'll be Friday. Next Friday.
Yeah, because Pam's video is coming out this upcoming Tuesday.
So then we still might have a video. We don't know yet. Next Friday at the latest. But we love you guys, and we'll see you next week.